Godzilla vs. Kong is the fourth installment in the MonsterVerse. As you can gather from the title, the two titans known as Godzilla and Kong finally face off, wreaking destruction as they do so. Meanwhile, our human characters have to figure out a way to eliminate the threat. As a critic, when it comes to these types of films, I have to adjust my expectations to a substantial degree. They're not great cinema, you're just supposed to have fun with them. And I'm okay with that. Just look at the movies to my sides. There are many B-rate films that I find enjoyment in. Unfortunately, Godzilla vs. Kong is not one of them. I found this movie surprisingly hard to get into. And don't get me wrong, it's not terrible. The special effects are incredible. It's nice to see these two monsters fighting, and there were some plot threads I found intriguing. But what I didn't like severely weighs down on anything positive I can mention. The characters are predictably flat, but on top of that, some of them are cliches. It got to the point where those characters would be right at home in a Michael Bay film. And that leads me into the humor. It rarely works. The jokes feel recycled from the Transformers films. You would think that what I just said sounds bad enough. Just wait. Those were the small things. The movie calls itself Godzilla vs. Kong, but in reality, it has no idea what it wants to be. There are too many plot lines. Any one of three of them by themselves could make for an interesting story, but they're all crammed into one unit, forcing them to constantly compete for attention. And by the end, none of them fully stick the landing. And going back to the title, when I reflected on it, Batman v Superman came to mind. It's another one, like Godzilla vs. Kong, where it sports this title of, this force against this other force. And in reality, for the most part of the film, they don't have a true fight. But the valid argument for Batman v Superman is that the title doesn't just reflect Batman and Superman's physical conflict. It also refers to their conflicting worldviews and how each of them chooses to be a hero. Between Godzilla and Kong, there is no complexity. So the legitimacy of the film's title relies on their physical conflict. And unfortunately, there isn't much of that here. Finally, the ending was very weak. I almost didn't mention it because it's the only thing in the film I'm sort of mixed on. It still deserves mentioning because it is very safe, with no originality or risks to it. This film really disappointed me. I set reasonable expectations, given what it is, and it still managed to come way below them. I'm going to give Godzilla vs. Kong a C-. If you watched it and had fun, that's great. I wasn't able to. Guys, as always, have a great day. I'll see you next week.